Safety was all but secured, but now alarm bells are ringing. Welcome back to Where the Addicks Talk with myself, Luke, and today we've got Alan, Steve, and Dave talking all things Charlton, including this week's A to Z. Right, let's get into it. Steve, it was only a couple of weeks ago that we were all talking. I think Alan was a little bit hesitant, but I think the rest of us said, no, Charlton is safe, job done. Let's start sunning ourselves on the beach. But it's not turned out that way as so far, mate. Are Charlton still safe, or are relegation alarm bells ringing for you, mate?
To be honest, I think we've got to be looking over our shoulder now, because the results have just been so poor recently. It's been since January against Leicester that we've scored 2 goals in one game, and we haven't scored. We've got none or one since then. You can't carry on with that type of threat up, or lack of threat up front, if you're going to be seriously looking to just be comfortable in this division. Teams around us are picking up points where we're dropping them, so that our kind of safety net of points has slowly been eroded away. We're still in a favourable position to stay up, because other teams do need to do the business. But at the minute, I'd favour some of those other lot to pick up points where we're just going to struggle. There's 4 games left of the season. 2 of them, in my head, both the home games are write-offs. I can't see us getting points against Ipswich or Hull. So we are relying on Sheffield Wednesday's poor form to continue for at least one more week, and for us to get the 3 points there. That 3 points should hopefully give us enough to be in the Championship next year. But anything less than that, we are in deep doo-doo going into the final few weeks. So it's turned into squeaky bum time, really has.
Yeah, do you think is it a bit of a character thing, Alan? It looks like Charlton, they were going on a bit of a run, getting enough points to seem like safety was guaranteed, and then there's been a drop off. Like, as I said before the recording, no win in 5 games out. That's pretty poor, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help Nathan Jones when he turns around and says, obviously, I want to see where we can finish and end up. I mean, the first thing is you keep nipping in the bud, is so let's get secure and safety first. I don't think it's a lack of effort, in the sense of we're trying. As I say, yesterday it was just questionable decision making for the substitutions, in the terms of Frank Costello, he shouldn't have come off. Chambers is the only left back at the club, and he keeps taking him off and putting TC at left back, and that was the second goal that obviously had done it. And Carey, he's been poor for 3 or 4 games now, and he just reluctantly to take him off. I mean, he took him off at Watford. There was some positives. The first 25 minutes, we were turning around and saying that the performance itself was probably a little bit of what we were hoping to see next season. The handbrake was off. It was a bit more positive. It's forward passing. Chambers, like he did against Watford, was going into inside wing back and playing that 6th role, passing forward. TC was on it. Ferrier was having a go, and it was like, oh, brilliant. We got 1-0 up. And I don't think there'd be a Preston fan that probably thought we're going to get spanked 3-0 here, because I thought we're going to roast them. And then we just completely, after the goal, it just, I don't know, just whether at 1-0 we thought we're safe, and then it's just going to be easy in a breeze, but it was awful. It was absolutely awful. There's no excuse for it, because if they think we're safe, this is very hard awakening, isn't it, guys?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing in the Championship, especially, but in any league, it's not done until it's done, and that's the point, isn't it, Dave? You've got to keep playing to, even if you go 1-0 up and you get a goal conceded, you've got to keep going. You've got to show that fight. It's such a big key point of the season that a team like Charlton, who seems safe, can easily get sucked in, because the likes of Pompey, Oxford, West Brom, they're fighting for their lives.
Yeah, and I think you're right. You can't take anything for granted, especially in this league. There's always a shock. Yes, like look at Leicester and the way that, obviously they got that penalty that dragged them into relegation, but that's basically stifled them as a team. And, conceding last minute goals is part of the course in this league. You can't switch off. And I think the problem I wasn't here for the last podcast, unfortunately, and so I didn't give my say on whether we're safe. But the big thing that concerns me is the confidence in the team. So the way that we've always been set up for this season is, a Nathan Jones way of like the defence first, and then we grab a goal here and there, and we win 1-0, or rarely we score 2 goals and win 2-0 or 2-1. And it just seems to be even like, that we're 1-0 up against this weekend. We're 1-0 up against Preston, and they were wobbling. It was like 20 minutes. We should have finished them off, and because we haven't, we concede a goal, and it's like confidence has dropped. That's the worrying thing. I am, I'm really concerned because we can't seem to score, more than 2 goals in a game. Or lucky if we score 2 goals. And when we concede a goal, it's like a glass jaw. I don't know what the solution is. Like you say, like Alan said, we went for them in the first 20 minutes, and we looked really progressive. We looked like we could finish them off, but we allow them back in the game, and then it's like, well, we start panicking. We take our foot off the gas. We're not attacking anymore. It took like an hour after that before we started again. It just seems to be these last 5 games at home, which we've lost. Last 20 minutes we're chasing the game, throwing the kitchen sink at it, and creating loads of chances, but can't score. So yeah, it's worrying.
Yeah. Some really good points in there, Dave. A couple I want to sort of dive into, Steve, is the lack of confidence. Football is a confidence game, isn't it? I mean, you look at some of the other teams heading the other direction. Southampton, for example. I mean, once confidence is there, momentum gets going. It's hard to stop. But it's the same the other way, isn't it? When confidence is low, trying to buy a corner is difficult, let alone a goal. It gets hard, doesn't it? And then, also on the point of the lack of goals in the team, well, what do you think needs to be looked at, Steve? Does Nathan Jones need to pull the group together and go, right, we fight to the end, we show character, we need to build this confidence up and get some more goals throughout the team?
Yeah, I mean, confidence is key, but part of it is common sense as well. And that bit, for me, comes down to the manager. Like, if he was playing the players in the natural positions, not trying to fill random gap, as Alan said earlier, taking off your only left back and sticking TC, who has time and time again this season shown he can't play that role. And yet we still do it. And it just drives every single fan inside the stadium absolutely mad that we're just making silly mistakes. And then as we concede a goal and the heads drop, and you can see that it's almost becomes an inevitability that another goal is going to creep in, or we're going to lose a game. So we've gone from at the start of the season where we were so rock solid at the back, we weren't conceding goals. You could see the confidence was high in the Nathan Jones style, and then we've drifted through the season into this point where players are just it's almost like they don't know what their role is. You can see at times that they don't know what they're meant to be doing, and that to me is the manager. And we're in a position now where we have him on the touchline throwing his little temper tantrums at players and at fans and whoever else, but he's not doing a good enough job in himself. And he always talks about being the best version of ourselves. Well, he needs to start being the best version of himself and actually doing his role, commanding respect amongst the players and the fans, getting the players to understand the simplicity of what sometimes they just need to do, and trying to get a simple way of playing the game. We need to just find a way in these last 4 games to feed someone up top. We've got the strikers. You've got Charlie Kelman. That's 2 games in a row, I think, now, where he sat on the bench and twiddled his thumbs and not been able to get on. He's our second top goal scorer. We bought him for a reason, and we're not using him. And you're bringing on like Luke Berry at the last few minutes of a game. What are you doing? That's just absolutely insane. Berry is at the tail end of his career. Clearly, he's not going to be here next season, we would think. Why are you with chasing a game 2-1 down with a genuine threat of relegation that you are putting those type of players on over the likes of Kelman? Simple message to Nathan Jones: you've got a choice here. You've got 4 games to get this right. You're either going to be playing potentially Tottenham next year in the Championship, or you're going to be playing Bromley in League One. What do you want to do?
Yeah, and that, like Nibs as well. What Nibs is in the squad last week, and Barry come in yesterday, and he said in his post match, if you've asked me like why was Barry not in the squad this week, or why is Nibs, etc., I don't think there's a Charlton fan out there, Nathan Jones, that's going to turn around and say why Luke Berry at 34 years old is out of contract in the nicest possible way is probably going to end up somewhere like Cambridge next year. Where we just spent like the best part of £4 or £5 million on Harvey Nibs. It doesn't make sense. It's just, yeah. And like you said about Kelman, you've got to chuck him on. At the end of the day, that point, Will Manion's running up the front. To try and get a goal in the last minute. You've got a striker on the bench. Scored 21 goals in League One last year, or 30, whatever it was. So.
Yeah, do you blame Nathan Jones now? Do you think he's to blame for a lot of it with the decisions in the lineups, the selection of the bench, the style of play? Do you put a lot of blame at Nathan Jones's door?
Well, I mean, we've all been saying for weeks he's got to be a bit more, like I said, we used the World Cup weeks ago about positive, wasn't it? We just needs to be a bit more positive at home. So I can't knock him for his starting 11, but it's just the substitutions. Like I say, Luke Chambers, he weren't having the best of games, but he was the only one in that first 25 minutes was literally getting on the ball and going forward. Rank Costello as well, and we did look good. The thing was, obviously, they sort of took that out and got that man on him, and Chambers faded out the game. But we've learnt time and time again, we can't keep putting TC at left wing back. There's no excuse for taking off Rank Costello. And as I said, why isn't Harvey Nibs on the bench? He has to take responsibility at that point on his substitutions. That's the main thing. And he like I say, I mean, Fuller, the best him. I think he played about 4 or 5 positions in that second half, the young kid. So he has to take some responsibility. It's at the end of the day, it's at his door. He works with the players all week and he picks the team in the 11. So, but I mean, you used the word, I think Dave mentioned his chat earlier, was it a bit nerves yesterday? And I don't really think it was nerves. It's just that deja vu feeling that we've got a goal, they've got a second goal, and you're just thinking, oh, God, worst case, we're going to get a best out of this is a draw. 1-1, you're thinking that, because we're just bombarding the box. It's the same way of play. You just know we're never going to score. I mean, we could still be there today, and I swear we wouldn't get a goal. That's where it was.
Question for you, Dave. This might be a bit of an out there one, might not be with the theme, but Nathan Jones. Say you stay in the Championship this year, job done. Is Nathan Jones more of a hindrance going into next season, or is he a positive? So, in other words, do you stick with Nathan Jones for next year, or would you be looking to bring a new manager in?
Well, that's a difficult question, especially on our current form. If you look back at what we've done in the last couple of years, then and we stay in this league, you'd find it hard to argue that he's got a chance to take the team forward. He always talks about. The thing is with Nathan Jones, he's starting to say the same things all the time. About the next stage is going to be about being a more fluid team, and the first signs we see of that is we become more fluid, and then we become absolutely fragile throughout the whole team, and then some of his substitutions yesterday, like you mentioned, he's bringing players on that's. They probably don't know what's expected of them because they're just put into all these different positions, and it's it's a bit like desperation, which isn't great. It's not going to instill confidence in those players, and we need confidence right now. We need the experienced players to step up and and bring along the youngsters, because they're just going to, unfortunately, a lot of them are going to freeze, in that situation. So yeah, a bit of I'm sort of dodging that question a bit now at the moment. I have always been. I think, I can't see much better than him at the moment at this level to take us to the next step. But then the next step is going to be mid championship, but safely mid championship. Beyond that, the jury's out.
Missed Cody yesterday. Missed Cody and Clark yesterday massively. Their championship experience and know-how.
Yeah. Right, let's try and spin it a bit more positive. So still 5 points from safety and Wednesday to come, Steve. There's no give me games. There's no pick me games ever. But if you want a game to try and get 3 points, Sheffield Wednesday is the one, isn't it? Well, what are you expecting from the game, Steve? And what's your score predictions, please, mate?
Yeah, I mean, it's about as close to the ideal fixture as you can get at this stage of the season, and against just everything that's happened over there. Obviously, it's pretty tragic what's happened to Sheffield Wednesday this year, but hopefully we can make the most of it for one last time. But yeah, I think we've got to go up there. We've got to kind of ignore what's happened in the last few weeks and just we've got to put the best 11 available players that are fit and no one's suspended, which is good. So we just got to put first the best 11 in the right positions up there, and there's no reason we can't get a good positive result. That said, I don't think we're going to go free scoring. I can't see this being a 3-4-5-0 going, but I don't care about that. If so long as we can get a 1-0 win, then I'll be happy. So I'm going to say 1-0 to Charlton against Sheffield Wednesday. And yeah, I honestly, anyone could score. I don't care. But it's just, we just got to get that 1-0 and bring the 3 points home, and hopefully that will be us, Smith.
Just getting over the line, but definitely. Right, let's move on to the A to Z, Dave. We're on to the letter V. We're flying through it. We're nearly coming to the end now. What's your letter V for Charlton, mate?
So the letter V, obviously we do it like good, the bad, the ugly of players, but it's the home of Charlton Athletic, the Valley, and just looking back through the sort of archive. So the Valley was our ground in 1919, and in fact it was the chairman decided that he was looking for another place for Charlton. At the time we're doing quite well, so he was looking to sort of get more support, and he come across a sand and chalk pit that happened to be abandoned, and he didn't have the finances to renovate or establish a football club there. And this is where the sort of community at Charlton Field goes back in history, is that he managed to get together some Charlton volunteers, and they basically dug down into the pit, excavated it, made a flat surface for the football pitch, and with all that material that he took out, they actually built like a stand around the pitch. So hence that's how the Valley was born, and because of that, it was huge in terms of scale. 1938 we had a famous game against Aston Villa in the FA Cup. We had a attendance there of 75,000, which had been quite a long-standing record. It's obviously surpassed now with the big super stadiums out there. But then in 1985, club got into a real bad financial situation, which we've been accustomed to over the years. So right now we're pretty gracious of where we are. But yeah, we had to leave the ground in 1985 because our debts had come so bad that the state of our pitch wasn't, or the stand wouldn't meet regulations, wasn't playable. And again, the community come together, the Charlton fans, and they formed a political party called the Valley Party, which basically they they led a campaign to get us back at the Valley, which we got back sort of 7 years later. And, you know, we when is now our permanent home, although unfortunately it's owned by some crazy Belgian guy in Dershelo, which, you know, hopefully one day we'll be in a financial position to get it back. But yeah, so the Valley has a lot of community feeling to Charlton, and yeah, you do sense that, and it definitely feels like home.
Brilliant. Well, that's a brilliant story. I didn't know a lot of that, so that's brilliant. Right, let's finish on. Instead of a tweet of the week this week, it's awards time. So we're coming to the end of the season. I like to do awards time. This one is signing of the season. So Alan, if you can start us off, please, mate. Who's been your signing of the season?
I would have said Carey at the moment, have to be, but if you're going for a January signing and a massive one, I think it's Addicks. He's completely turned away. Obviously, we've needed that sort of focal figure up front without Godden. So I've been really impressed with Lyndon Dykes, and hopefully we can hopefully keep him as well next season.
Yeah. Lyndon Dykes, nice. Steve, please, mate.
Yeah, Dykes has been good, but if you'd asked me before Christmas, I'd have probably said Carey, just because of his performances were good and his goals was keeping us ticking over nicely. But probably from the overall per season, and I'd go Mari Bell. I think at the back he's been really solid on the most part. We clearly missed him when he was out injured for a few games, and yeah, he's slotted in quite nicely. So yeah, he'd be my choice.
Like it. Dave, to finish us off, mate.
Yeah, likewise. I think towards sort of Christmas time, yeah, you'd be saying Carey. You know, obviously our leading goal scorer. He single-handedly win us quite a few games, and between him, you know, he's had a bit of a bad run of injury at the moment. But for me, the player of the season, signing of the season, has been Kaminski. You know, he did keep us in some fantastic saves and kept us in some games. But for me, yeah, he'd still be the signing of the season for me.
Like it. Some good signs, and there was some good signs in January as well. In the likes of Connor Cody and Harry Clark, etc. I think they came in important times.
Yeah, just a little positive here for say we've got to think. Obviously Ipswich are going to beat Portsmouth for us on Tuesday night. Then Ipswich have got a Middlesbrough lunchtime kick-off, and they're going to smash them about 5-0. And then when it gets to next week, they'll just let us off. They've been so knackered, they'll just give us a point. And assuming we beat Windsor, that's our 4 points, and then that should be it.
Everyone's happy, yeah. We can.
Yeah, and Yarisville, Dapo, and God knows who else, and giving Mahoney Bono being a footballer, and God knows what else. So yeah, we'll have. If you hate us as having a tail jump, wait till you see a pitch invasion, mate.
Absolutely brilliant. Right, thank you guys. Thanks for a great conversation as always. This hope to be having a bit more of a positive chat after the Sheffield Wednesday game. Definitely. Thank you for watching at home. Please like and subscribe and get involved in the comments below. Who's been your signing of the season?